Swords here, and today we're going to work on a Jetman Black Condor. I think is that what he is? A little print fail here, but luckily we have the bottom and the top printed fine, so we'll just kind of fill in the blanks, so to speak, with some epoxy sculpt for sure, and we should be good to go. The back's printing right now. It's almost done, looks good. You know, knock on wood, of course. But modeled by 3D Command Center. And I think it's safe to say everyone loves Jetman Black. What's his name? Name just escaped me. I feel like it's Guy or something, but you know, if you've seen Jetman, you know how it goes. Probably one of the highlights. So excited to do this one. I have a Pepakura conversion that is terrible. I'll show you at the end. But this is going to replace its spot on the shelf. So I'm happy to do this, especially when, you know, don't have to worry about finding a room, like on the floor or in the bedroom or, you know, on the kitchen table. You know, it's all got a spot, so that's taken care of. But we'll get the sports off it. See what we got to do to fix up this terrible print failure here. It started, the big part, it fell off the supports and it was just printing in the air, so I taped it a little higher up just so it's something to grab onto and not make a big mess and, you know, get a blob somewhere and knock it off the print bag, so that's why it's taped. Or else I would just let it go. And it might be hard to get this stuff to work, but some epoxy sculpt and we'll be fine. So that's the plan. We'll get the supports off, fix the beak, and hopefully the back fits fine and we'll be good to go.
All right, so I'm not sure 100% how to do this. So we're missing a good chunk of the beak. I think it goes down like that, maybe. You know, just following the way it tapers. So, you know, I'll probably put some tape, get where it tapers, and we'll try to fill this in with something. Shouldn't be too hard. It's gonna be a good bit of work. I mean, we just need something there so we can put some epoxy sculpt. But I think that's the plan. I'm gonna look up a picture real quick too. Make sure it's about where it looks, but we're just gonna weld the plastic out of a soldering iron here and then try to figure something out. So that's the plan. We'll see if it works. Okay, I know, it looks bad, but trust me, we'll clean her up. And once we get the epoxy sculpt in here, all we super have to worry about is this line right here. I was trying to fill it with some support material, but it just wasn't working. It's too thin, so we just went with some plastic. But it'll be fine. Fine, we'll get it in there, sculpt it, sand it. You won't even notice, I promise. So. Still got to get that out of there, but so that's where it is. I'm gonna move on to the epoxy sculpt here next, and hopefully we can make this look like a helmet. Okay, roughed out the line for this. I'm gonna hit the epoxy putty with some, oh, I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. Some oh my God, some 80 grit, Jesus. And try to shape this up. Nice thing is we got the line, so we can follow that. It's gonna taper, oh my God, I'm sorry, taper this taper this a little, smooth this out. But the 80 grit's just gonna rip through this and should be able to get something. I know the line looks a little crooked, but the general idea is there. I can kind of feel where I shaped it, so, and we'll get this side more flat. But I'm gonna do that with some 80 grit, and not the whole helmet. Because ever since I've been using the glazing putty, I don't know if it's really necessary. I'll probably put spot putty on after this, like the definitely troubled areas, like the top always, and where the chin tapers. And you can kind of see these layer lines already, so we'll have to do in here. I still gotta get these supports out of the wing here. Again, we'll get to that. But since I've been using glazing putty, I usually just do that and then do 100 over the whole thing instead of doing 80 over the whole thing. It's just easier. And then just 220 the rest of the way after we prime it. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. Definitely have to fill some areas, but we'll do that with some glazing putty. They're not really deep, even though they do look kind of deep on camera. But we got the shape as best as I can get it, I think. It's not perfect, but I think it'll be okay once we get it all patched up here. So next, I'm just gonna put on, well, I'm gonna get rid of these supports here, get these out here. Then we're just gonna put some glazing putty on it. I usually don't show that because I just take the tube and just slather it, you know, and try not to get in any of the detail lines, which is very hard for me, but you know, we try. And then we will sand with 100 grit, so stand by. All right, I'm gonna start sanding this. Not looking forward to it. Probably gonna be a pain to get that beak nice and smooth, but we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot, just quick rough sand, so. Whew. Here we go. All right, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I don't know how I feel about that new sander yet. I did get my old one fixed, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. I still need to heat gun the inside, get rid of these strings. I didn't know if I was gonna keep this, so I didn't. But we're gonna put primer on it. I can fill some divots here, but with the primer on, you can actually see what it looks like. Because right now it looks like a mess, but once you prime it, it'll show what it actually looks like with paint on it, obviously, but it helps make it one shape instead of seeing all the individual colors. But we'll do that. We'll probably needle file out the detail lines after we prime it and fill this in any other place we gotta fill in and then sand again. So that's the plan. Okay, the beak doesn't look bad. I mean, we gotta fill, there's a couple divots here and stuff. We can fill that, but you know, it's got the, continues the line. It looks all right. I think it's a little too far in, so we might have an issue with the visor when we get there, but I don't think it's more in than the lip, so it should be all right. But the issue I see, you see this banding? I don't know why, but my CR10, it's just what it does. I've tried to change settings to get it not to, and I just don't have any luck. And it's really hard to cover up, so we're gonna keep adding some more filler primer. Well, yes, but some more spot putty. I'm trying to get rid of that. Usually the back's pretty simple to do. Just keep adding layer and layer and layer, and we'll get there. But the front, it's hard to do it and not lose everything. But we'll clean up some of the detail lines here and then fill those. Spot putty around here. We definitely need some more in the top up here. Still see the what's the name for it? The circular pattern. There's a name for it. I don't know, I can't think of it right now. But we're getting there. It's looking good. It certainly looks better than it did. You know, actually looks like a helmet now. And it is salvageable for sure. So we will continue on. Okay, I accidentally forgot to do a time lapse for that, so that might look bad, and I apologize, but Jetman Black here looking pretty good. We'll get some primer on it. We'll probably have to fill these holes. See, I'm gonna hand sandify the eyes real quick, but progress. All right, looking much better. I think we might have to fill those holes in the beak with some epoxy sculpt, just because they're pretty deep. But other than that, we'll dig out the lines, see if any places need touched up. Go from there. I'm going to try to get a file in the sides of these wings here, because I think it looks bad, so probably next, and then yeah, it doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty good. Usually I need like another coat, but we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely need another coat of primer, but I don't know about the spot putty. Okay, we're gonna sand Jetman Black here. I think I filled in all the divots in the beak that we built ourselves, honestly. It's looking good. And I dug out all the detail lines with a needle file, best I could. They look a little sloppy, but it'll get cleaned up, and you know, once we fill them in actually with paint, it'll be fine. Gonna do that. Back, I think just needs sanded. It looks pretty good. I think it should be all right. I don't see you should get the ring at the top. And you could kind of see some banding there, but I think sanding and another coat of primer should get rid of that, and then paint on top of that. So let's get to it. Okay, I think it's gonna be all right. It's hard to tell what this will look like, the beak without primer on it. So that's what we're gonna do next. And if I think it looks good, I'll just move on to wet sanding, and you'll probably catch up with me when we start painting. So stand by. We're gonna put the base coat on. I think the beak is probably the best I'm gonna be able to get it, and it should be okay. Maybe it's a little bit that we could probably get a little better, but all things considering, I think it's gonna be fine. So let's get some black on it and see how it looks with paint. All right, that's 3 coats of some flat black. I think it's looking pretty good. I'm actually getting kind of excited about this. It's certainly one of my favorite. Well, I guess all the Jetman helmets are pretty up there. So it'd be nice to add another one. I have the files for white, yellow, and red. So maybe we'll just do them all, you know, as we do. Okay, we're gonna do the white on here. I think I matched it off in here the best I could. No promises, but you know, we'll see. If not, we can fill it. It's black, not a big deal. So here we go. All right, we're gonna put the silver on here. We have a little bit of overspray with white, not a big deal. We'll get all the colors on first. I think some of it will be covered up where the beak's gonna be. So we'll get the silver on here, let it dry a little bit. It's getting colder, it's that time of the year, I mean, you probably won't see this till April, but right now it is October. I'm on vacation this week. Hopefully trying to beat this cold so I can get some work done. Lots of helmets over there staring at me like I owe money. So that's the goal, but that's not important to what's happening now. We're gonna get some silver on here, and then I already have the beak pre-masked, so once it's dry enough I can put, I won't put tape directly on the silver, but enough around it where I can do the beak. We'll do that. So then after that, I'm just gonna do the fine lines, touch up a little bit of that overspray. I said I know one spot is like right in the corner where the wings meet the top of the visor. I don't know how I missed that. I got it on the other side, so I'm not sure what I did wrong in the one, but no big deal. We'll fix it. A little black acrylic, be perfect. And sadly out of my silver enamel, so I'm just gonna go back to the old Russ Williams silver. There's only one place close to me that sells the Testors spray silver and gold, and you know, if I was at work I could stop because it's by my office, but I don't know, I'm not making a trip just for that. Should be perfectly fine, but let's get it sprayed. All right, feeling a little lazy this morning, so I'm just going to do some of the detail lines on this. Gonna touch up a little bit of yellow. We got overspray here, and a little bit white overspray, and look yellow we got here. Not a big deal. Then we'll do the lines. They'll be white. This should be carved out enough. It should be okay. And then I'm gonna double check. I think the eyes are left like this. Black lines on here. And we'll touch up a couple of these spots here around this and the mouth plate. I think we should be pretty good. I should be ready to clear after that. So yeah, I think it looks good. This reconstructed beak and everything. I don't think it looks bad, but you know, it'd be better if it didn't fail. But you know, we work with what we have. So. Yep, I'm gonna look up some reference just to make sure that's all we're doing, but let's get to it. Okay, we had a couple oops doing the black on the white. And since the white is flat, it's very hard to get it off without painting over it. So, touched it up a little bit. I didn't realize the eyes were white. I mean, it makes, excuse me, perfect sense. So, I'm going to do a couple coats on them, and then we'll clean up the black parts for sure. But other than that, I think we're looking okay. I'm going to go over the white lines one more time once they dry a little bit. And look at the reference. This black goes the whole way across and the white stays under, so I'm working on filling that in. We'll do another coat on that too. But let this dry a little bit, then do second coat of white around the eyes, Let that dry, we'll touch that up. And we'll move on to top coat. Okay, I think we should be okay to clear coat this. I'm trying to remember when I did the yellow, I think it was 3 days ago. It should be plenty of time, I hope. So we'll see what happens. But I think it looks pretty good. We got the eyes all cleaned up, lines all cleaned up, and the clear coat, I think we'll put it all together. So here we go. Just a little update. The front, beautiful. Really happy with it. A couple things could, there's always something you could do a little better. But I'm gonna leave it alone. Back had 2 big runs on the side. You can kind of see like the outline where it's really rough, where it's not shiny anymore. But I just sanded that down with some 400 and did the whole back in 600 then. And we're just gonna put another 1 or 2 coats of clear on it, and I'm gonna work on the visor while that's drying, and hopefully it's good enough to touch. I can put the magnets in and call it a day. Probably won't be till tomorrow, but that's the plan. Okay, we got the back mostly dry. I mean, it's dry, but look at that. That's pretty. That's pretty. Can't really see where we had runs. Should be good. That's kind of how this is too. You can see yourself. It's not as nice, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty wild though, how one more coat, a little bit of a sanding does, but it's fine for all we're doing. So we are going to put the magnets in, visor, elastic, you know the deal. Should be a pretty easy visor, I hope. Famous last words, as always, but the only problem we might run into is the back of this isn't the most even, because I built it myself, you saw, and try to get the front look as best as I could. I mean, there's a couple dings here and here, but I'm more than happy with it. I'm more than happy with how this is turning out, for sure. Considering the amount of restoration we had to do, I guess, so to speak. But, yep, we're gonna get to this and we will see how it goes. Okay, everything's in, everything's glued. I'm gonna let it set, and we will get to the spin around. All right, that is Jetman Black finished. Love how this turned out. I mean, even with reconstructing the beak and everything, I think it turned out really well. It's a little dusty. It's been sitting for like a week, but the back is beautiful. I wish I would have went back and wet sanded the front again and reglossed it like I did the back. But we didn't have any runs, so we weren't going to push it. And this is going to be replacing. Are you ready? This was a Pepakura conversion. No, this was a Super Sentai Legends mobile game model. So this is what my old Jetman Black was. She's not pretty. She's not pretty. She's missing a lot of details now I look at it as well. I did do all this kind of myself, so I guess in that regard, yay me. But this is going right in the garbage. This is the future. This is what it's all about. Start from the bottom and you're not quite to the top yet. There's a couple things that changed on this helmet. Again, if the beak would have printed, as you saw, the beak is all hand sculpted. So it could be nicer, maybe like jut out a little more, but from the front, it looks just like Jetman Black. And pretty much from the side, from what I could tell, it's pretty good. There's a couple pits in it still that I couldn't quite get out, but yeah, super happy with this. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. It's gonna look good on the shelf. I might have to move my SPD red back there and put this next to my Jetman blue. As for Jetman helmets, we have 3 left. I've been trying to print I guess it's white. Is she white or pink? I'm gonna say, since the majority of the helmet is white, right? It's Jet Swan, whatever. I've been trying to print that one all week, but having printer issues, so we're gonna get that one up. Then we just gotta get Owl and Red done, and kind of I'm saving a Red for last because I let Jetman Red. Yellow is probably my least favorite character from that series, but I don't know. Everyone loves what's his name, Guy. Yeah, he's a lovable jerk, I guess. In the end, in the beginning is not. But if you haven't seen Jetman, check it out. I know I said that in my Jetman Blue video, but make sure you at least look. I know it's probably like overhyped. Like everyone says, Gokaiger's overhyped and Shinkendra's overhyped, but there's a reason. They are kind of good. But thanks for watching. New videos up every Friday, as you know. Just a little forewarning. I just got these AirPods. I'm trying to use them as microphones, so my audio's not as low. And I'm not sure how they sound yet, so if the audio for the end of these next couple videos sounds bad, that's why, and I apologize. But other than that, check out my Instagram at Stickosaurus, TikTok at Stickosaurus, play the guessing game. I also put that on Instagram, so Twitter at Stickosaurus. If there's anything you want to see, let me know, and I try to make it happen. I promise I'm working on 98% of everything anyone has suggested, or it's already done. So stay tuned. It will be coming. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a great day.